Her bound hands scrambled along the unyielding metal behind her. In the darkness, Vivian had the frantic impression of walls steadily growing closer. Her chest felt tight, her breath came in quick, panicked bursts, and she felt a roiling surge of nausea as her body rocked back and forth with the movement of the horse trailer. The logical part of her brain nudged at the edges of the panic, insisting on calm. Although it made no difference in the dark, Vivian closed her eyes. She drew several shaky breaths as the pounding in her ears eased. Think. Just think. It seemed almost impossible to believe this all started with a horse show. Nothing surpasses the beauty of an Arabian horse in motion. As Vivian removed the colt's halter and stepped away, he spun and galloped across the pasture. The early morning light flickered through his mane and tail in his dash toward freedom. Disaster threatened as he raced headlong toward the fence, apparently oblivious of any barrier. In a sudden flurry of long legs and flying dirt, he turned just in time. Wheeling around, he looked back at Vivian accusingly. She shook her head in amusement as the colt snorted, nostrils flaring, and pranced back toward her, weaving his lithe neck back and forth with each floating step. He stopped within a few feet, arched his neck, and snorted again. The sound echoed like a trumpet across the still morning. It always amused Vivian how a thoroughly domesticated horse suddenly morphed into a wild, untamed Mustang when released into the pasture. Vivian latched the gate and strolled toward the house, her mud-coated shoes squelching in the wet grass. It was hard to believe these unexpected bursts of rain were still pouring down in May. As she neared the door, her knees were nearly taken out by a flying bundle of fur. Another, smaller blur joined the charge and wiggled about her ankles in typical Boston Terrier fashion. She knelt as Jeff licked excitedly at her fingers. Mutt, the golden retriever, took a more direct approach. He caught Vivian's arm in his mouth and tugged her toward the house. True to his breed, the retriever's teeth barely touched her skin. But he moved backward with great deliberation, wagging his entire posterior with each step. Vivian could hear a muffled whining noise making its way around her arm from his throat. Jeff continued to snort, snuffle, and dash around them, deranged by his excitement. Abby appeared at the screen door, and Mutt relinquished his hold, running to her and barking proudly. Abby smiled as Vivian surveyed her arm, now dripping with drool and stray bits of grass. Lovely, was her only comment.